Hello, men. Hello, MGTOWs. I see the men dating, pushing that. They're clowning on Mercies' playground, and if you don't know what I'm talking about, you're never going to get it, and you may never will. Clowning on Mercies' playground, putting yourselves in harm's way. Here's a bunch of stories I have over my dating career, or whatever you want to call it. I used to clown on Mercy's playground too. The date was going okay. Her name was Tanya. We went out to the Burger King, stopped and had a movie. Stopped at the bar later, had some drinks. How was I supposed to know? She was alcohol intolerant. We walked back down the street, down the dark street, past the woods, up to my house, the well-lit front porch. I kicked my boots off. They were sitting on the steps. I sat down, grabbed a few beers, and handed her one. After about 5 minutes, she bent over and threw up in my boots. She rolled down the steps and passed out. I called her girlfriend. They were in the back. A couple guys were hanging around. I said, "Hey, somebody got to get Tanya. Someone got to take care of her." So I washed my boots out, went to bed, woke up the next morning and got the phone call. She said, "Joe, sorry about the night, but I was wondering, did you touch me?" The end. So, we dated for about 3 weeks. Her name was Sue. Maybe 4 weeks. Could have been upwards to 6. I don't know. It's pretty fun. There was sex and drugs and rock and roll, and it was the mid-'80s. I think it was the mid-'80s. She calls one day after about the 6th week, I suppose, and says, "Joe, I think I'm pregnant, and I think it's yours. You're gonna have to get checked. Have a DNA check." She goes to the doctor, finds out she's already 2 months pregnant. That would make it 2 weeks before I met her, but still she persists. She needs a provider. She has no fucking idea whose kid that was. It was fun for about 6 weeks. Then it was horror. I can't remember her name. She was a nurse. Just had to have me. Wouldn't leave me alone. She was a nice enough person, so I figured nurse, Nawalt. Got a good job, good head on her shoulders. That's fine, I'll go out with her a couple times. So I come to her house, and she's in her nursing uniform, that little flower uniform they wear, She says, "I'll take a shower and be ready." A couple minutes. She takes a shower, comes out, sits down on the couch and says, "God, am I tired?" I said, "Okay, I'll give you a few minutes." She falls asleep, deep, heavy sleep. So I ordered a pizza, and I turned on her cable box and ordered something on her pay-per-view. Watched the movie, can't remember which one it was. Sat there for about 2 hours watching her sleep on the couch. Finished a couple pieces of pizza, put the rest in the fridge, and I left. She never even knew I was there, I think. So the next day she calls me and says, "Wow, that was great." Starts stalking me. I says, "Nah, maybe you're not my kind of girl." For 2 weeks she runs around telling everybody what an asshole I am and how she's my girl, how I belong to her, how the other girls should stay away from me. Wow, that lasted for about 3 months. Yeah. Her name was Dee. She wanted me to call her Candy. Should have known. Stripper name. So it was pretty fun for a while. She had absolutely a perfect body, no blemishes, all the 10 a man could want. So she calls me one day after about a month and, can you take me here? So I stop at the gas station and get her a pack of cigarettes. Then I drove her to the store. It was a hair care place. She couldn't find what she wanted. So I drove her to the Walmart. She couldn't find what she wanted in there, so she demanded that I drive her over to this other place, and we went to about 3 places, and before I know it, I'm somewhere in Midwest Ohio sitting in front of a wig store for an hour and a half while it's 80-some degrees outside and I got no water. The horror would have been if I would have went inside the store. An hour and a half later, I walked in, said, "Where's the men's section?" They take me to a little section out of this huge, gigantic store. There's a section. So I get a can of Barbasol and a shaver, go back to the car, and I wait, have a conversation with the store owner out front while she shops. Somewhere after about 3 hours, she finally makes it back to the car. I take her home. She has to do her hair then, so I'm waiting. Then I walked out and thought, what the fuck am I tooling this bitch around, spending money and time? What the fuck was I doing, driving her around, putting miles on my car where I could have been doing something else? All because I wanted some of that, playing on Mercies' playground. Yeah. So what makes a true MGTOW horror story, huh? You wonder. What makes that perfect MGTOW horror story? Was it the 16 years of marriage, the 3 kids later, finding some other cat sitting on your couch in your house, paying child support, paying the bills, why some other cat fucks your wife? Nah, that shit's easy. What makes that perfect horror story, that MGTOW playing on Mercy's playground story? Michelle. Me and Michelle dated for about a year after my divorce. Things were groovy. We had a lot of interests. She helped me get back on my feet, get back to normal. I was screwed up then. One screwed up cat. So things are going great, and I gotta move. I gotta move a lot back then. She understood that. She wanted the bad boy. So I tell her I'm moving into a house, permanent house. I'm gonna buy it. Some reason something didn't go right in her head with that. 40 miles away. Away from people. Away from the world. She goes out one night. Another cat. Tells me, well, that's just the way it is, Joe. You made your choice. You wanted to move into a house, get your life together. I don't want that. I said, fine, be gone. A year later, I pick up the paper. There's her face. That special choice, that other, that great bad boy, the provider, had choked her to death and buried her under the house. A vision came in my head about her face, that little neck being choked to death and her shoes falling off. That's what I see when I think about this. After you get to know someone for about a year, you think about things like that. I stopped dating. What makes that MGTOW? At what point do you just go, man, this shit ain't worth it? This shit is crazy. I stopped playing on Mercy's playground a long time ago. Thanks a lot, MGTOWs.